It is January 31st, and here is your Ukraine update. Today I'm going to talk about the Russian war effort and the bleak situation we have found ourselves in. It's like the 1930s all over again. The world sees what's on the horizon and is perhaps not reacting accordingly. Russia is shifting towards a war economy with 40% of its state budget this year going directly into the war effort. There are entire shopping malls and bakeries being transformed into drone factories. The military-industrial complex reports manufacturing increases in the triple digits. Russia's artillery shell manufacturing already doubles the entire NATO alliance, with Russia manufacturing 2 million shells, that's currently, and the alliance probably will be able to reach 1 million in 2024. And when we add procurements from places like North Korea, for example, it more than triples. This doesn't include their ballistic missile manufacturing program versus the manufacturing of interceptors. I mean, the ratios there, I don't even want to find out. NATO military leaders are warning Europe and America to prepare for an all-out conflict with Russia in as little as 2 to 3 years. With war potentially on its doorstep, Europe must invest billions in defense spending and rapidly accelerate its efforts to even have a chance of catching up. However, this urgency isn't reflected across the board. There is no real coalition of nations agreeing to a massive increase in defense spending. Only a few nations, for example Poland, have begun serious preparations. In NATO countries, there seems to be little alarm among the population. My question is, why? One disadvantage of democracy, loosely speaking, is the need for public approval. Politicians often focus on short-term, medium-term thinking, considering long-term issues only a term for electoral popularity. We are also accustomed of putting a positive spin on just about any problem. There's always an alternative view or someone to blame when things go wrong. The belief is that if we can find and replace the responsible party, things will just resolve themselves. There's also our good friend, my favorite topic, wishful thinking. And of course, disbelief. We refuse to acknowledge the severity of what's happening. We just ignore the inevitable. Putin doesn't worry about the future or public opinion or elections. He's in total control of his country, and he seems to willing to plunge his nation into poverty. Even if it happens, it goes into some Dickensian state where everyone is eating shoelaces, it probably won't even affect his rule. This is a problem. We need to focus on this now. You can call it fear-mongering if you like. Russia doesn't care about your feelings. It actually prefers you afraid or angry or emotional or sad or whatever, because it creates division. And we can see that in America right now. People see this problem as something that is kind of in the future, 3 to 5 years away, or like the Norway says, 20 years even. So why should they worry? I mean, I'll tell you why. Because this is now a multifaceted industrial problem. This is not just some reactionary thing that we use our existing stockpiles to deal with. You need to have these things in place for the Ukrainians to arm them to finish the job, or even worse, arm ourselves if and when Russia comes knocking. This is not a computer game where we can just spawn and spin up complicated manufacturing processes. At the best of times, we're able to add manufacturing capability in months, likely years. In our Western democracies, we value accountability, and rightly so, but addressing this looming threat from the East, we're failing miserably. A lot of what I'm talking about today comes from an article published by The Telegraph yesterday. I'll share a link to that article in the description. If you want to support me and independent journalism, please consider buying me a coffee. The link is in my bio. Or if you want, you can donate directly to PayPal. You can see my email in the description. I'll see you next time.